Welcome back to Smart Stock Sam, the channel where we cut through the noise and hand you the real story behind the stocks that matter. If this is your first time here, hit that subscribe button right now, because what we are about to break down today is exactly the kind of deep dive analysis we bring you every week. Today we are talking about Bitmine Immersion Technologies, ticker symbol BMNR, a stock that just earned a strong buy rating from one of Wall Street's most respected firms. And based on everything we are seeing in the charts, the options market, and the institutional data, a massive rebound could genuinely be loading right now. By the time this video ends, you are going to understand the full picture: the transformation story, the Treasury strategy, the technical setup, the risks, and the actual trade blueprint. Stay with me all the way to the end, because the most important part, the exact entry zone and price targets, comes later. But first, here is the one idea that is going to completely change how you think about this company. To understand why this stock moves the way it does, we have to start with the transformation itself. For years, Bitmine was a fairly traditional Bitcoin miner. Most people filed it away under small-cap crypto miner and moved on. But under the leadership of Chairman Tom Lee, the company executed what Wall Street is calling a hard pivot. They essentially walked away from the mining narrative to become the world's largest publicly traded Ethereum treasury. This is not a small tweak to a business model. This is a complete identity replacement. The thesis is no longer about hash rates or electricity costs. The thesis is leverage. Pure, concentrated, high-octane leverage to Ethereum price action. When ETH moves 5%, BMNR often moves like it took something much stronger. It has become a high beta proxy for one of the most valuable blockchain networks on Earth. Now let us look at the actual numbers behind the Alchemy strategy, because once you see the true scale of what they are doing, you will understand exactly why institutional money has been flooding into this stock. As of early May 2026, Bitmine has accumulated 5.18 million Ethereum, 5.18 million ETH, representing 4.29% of the entire global circulating supply. Their target is 5%, what management calls unassailable market dominance. And the velocity of accumulation is staggering. In just the first week of May 2026 alone, they added over 101,000 ETH to their holdings. 1 week, they are buying with aggression that most institutional desks cannot fathom. What happens when they actually hit that 5% mark? We will get there, and I promise you, it is the most structurally bullish part of this entire thesis. First, let us talk about the credibility upgrades that changed the institutional landscape for this stock overnight. On April 9, 2026, BMNR officially migrated from NYSE American to the main New York Stock Exchange. If you are not deep in market structure, you might think this is just administrative paperwork. It is not. This uplisting dramatically expands institutional mandate eligibility. Thousands of funds, pension funds, endowments, large mutual funds are contractually restricted from buying stocks on smaller exchanges. With this move, all of those funds can now legally hold BMNR. The institutional universe expanded by an enormous magnitude overnight, but then management did something that genuinely shocked the market. They did not just authorize a buyback, they quadrupled it. The initial $1 billion authorization was replaced with a $4 billion share repurchase program. Tom Lee and his team are essentially telling the world the market is dramatically undervaluing our equity relative to the Ethereum on our balance sheet, and we are going to keep buying back shares until the market figures that out. Now let us talk about recent price performance, because this tape has been a serious roller coaster. As of our most recent check, BMNR is sitting at $22.17. Zoom out to the one-year horizon and the performance is breathtaking, a surge of between 175 and 202%. That is the kind of return that makes careers. But year to date, the stock is actually down over 20%, reflecting the broader sectoral cooling across crypto-adjacent equities. However, the 30-day window shows an 18% recovery driven almost entirely by the accelerated ETH accumulation news. So the critical question is, are we at a real inflection point, or is this just a temporary bounce in a longer downtrend? The answer may lie in who is actually holding this stock right now. We are seeing 432 institutional owners holding over 183 million shares, nearly a third of the entire float. We are talking Vanguard, BlackRock, Cathie Wood's ARK Investment Management, Wolverine Asset Management just opened a fresh $2,860,000 position. These are not impulsive buyers. On the governance side, Bitmine swapped their auditor to KPMG in May 2026, a Big Four firm. For institutional investors, this is a prerequisite checkbox that is now officially ticked. Insider ownership sits at 0.2%, and there has been no significant insider selling, which is always worth monitoring, but currently shows no red flags. Now here is the part that demands honesty. The elephant sitting right in the middle of their balance sheet. Bitmine holds over $12 billion in Ethereum, but because a significant portion of that buying occurred near the August 2025 peaks, they are sitting on an estimated $6 billion unrealized loss. Could this company be forced into a fire sale liquidation if Ethereum prices fall further? Could the entire Treasury thesis unravel if ETH drops another 20 or 30%? These are real, legitimate risks, and anyone telling you otherwise is not being straight with you. But here is the operational cushion most retail investors completely miss. Bitmine is not passively sitting on their ETH. They are actively staking it through their proprietary MAVAN Validator Network, which is generating between $297 million and $300 million in annualized staking revenue. Real cash flow. This yield engine allows BMNR to survive massive paper drawdowns without being forced to sell a single coin. It transforms the balance sheet from a static, price-dependent bet into a yield-bearing treasury, a game-changing distinction when assessing long-term survivability. Since BMNR is essentially a leveraged proxy for Ethereum, we need to check the ETH technical picture first. Ethereum is hovering around $2,310, and the charts are showing a classic battle zone. There is a massive resistance wall at $2,400. A monthly close above $2,420 would flip that level to permanent support and likely ignite the crypto spring narrative in a major way. The 50-day and 200-day moving averages are converging near $2,360, creating a genuine make-or-break zone. And here is the most bullish on-chain signal we are tracking. Institutional players accumulated 140,000 ETH in just the last 96 hours. Could Ethereum reclaim $3,000 by end of summer? Could that be the catalyst that sends BMNR screaming past $30? Those are the questions keeping options traders up at night right now. Now let us look at the BMNR technicals directly. The RSI is at 50.79, pure neutral territory. No exhaustion signal in either direction. The stock is coiled and waiting. The MACD sits at negative 0.07, a slight bearish lean in the immediate short term, though a bullish crossover may be forming. Critically, the price is holding above both the 200-day and 50-day exponential moving averages, a structurally bullish posture. Daily volatility is running at 4.26%, and with a beta of 26.87, this stock responds to crypto market moves with extreme amplification in both directions. On short interest, some people are watching BMNR for a squeeze setup. There are 27.42 million shares sold short, representing about 4.89% of the float, but the days to cover is only 0.89. Shorts can fully exit in less than one trading day if they need to. The borrow fee is just 0.28%. This is not a GameStop situation. The mechanical short squeeze narrative simply does not apply here. The real driver will always be asset correlation. Where Ethereum goes, BMNR follows on steroids. The real institutional excitement is happening in the options market. the May 15th expiry is showing a heavy bullish bias with a call-to-put volume ratio of 2.92. The battleground is the $22 strike with massive open interest stacked there. But look at the $24 strike, over 27,000 open call contracts creating a significant resistance wall. If BMNR breaks and holds above $24, market makers are forced to delta hedge, and that mechanical buying could fuel a serious move toward $30. Even more intriguing, we have detected unusual institutional call buying at the $40 strike for August 2026. Someone with very deep pockets is making an enormous bet on a crypto spring rally by end of summer. Could BMNR genuinely double from these levels within 4 months? The options market is saying it is not out of the question. Wall Street analysts are now adding their voices to the bullish camp in force. The consensus has moved to a buy or moderate buy. Cantor Fitzgerald recently upgraded BMNR to a strong buy with a price target of $34.50. Conservative estimates from analysts sit between $30 and $33, already significantly above today's $22.17 price. The average target across the analyst community runs between $34.50 and $36. High-end estimates reach $39. These are substantial upside numbers relative to where the stock is sitting today. Here is the actual trade blueprint. The target entry zone is between $21.50 and $22.10, aligning with the 200-day moving average and the current consolidation base. Immediate support sits at $20.33. The critical line in the sand is $19. If BMNR closes below $19 on meaningful volume, the entire bullish basing pattern is invalidated and you want to be out. To the upside, $24 is the first major hurdle. A clean break above that opens the path to $28 to fill the gap, followed by a momentum target of $32. Analyst consensus points to $34 to $36 for the longer-term thesis players. Short-term, the two catalysts to watch simultaneously are the $24 call wall and Ethereum closing above $2,420. If both of those conditions are met at the same time, a technical void opens that could push this stock toward $30 very quickly. Longer term, once Bitmine hits its 5% Ethereum ownership target, capital allocation flips entirely. Accumulation stops, staking revenue gets harvested at full scale, and that $4 billion buyback starts mechanically shrinking the share count. Net asset value per share rises, even in a flat Ethereum environment. That is the long game, and it is a compelling structural setup. Before we wrap up, an important note: nothing in this video is financial advice. I am not a licensed financial advisor. Everything here is strictly for educational and informational purposes only. Always do your own due diligence, consult a qualified financial professional before making any investment decisions, and never invest money you cannot afford to lose. Crypto-adjacent equities carry extreme risk, and past performance is never a guarantee of future results. The bottom line on BMNR: if you evaluate this through conventional financial metrics, it looks impossible to underwrite. But that framework is entirely wrong for what this company has become. This is not a traditional operating business. It is a leveraged vehicle. The balance sheet, anchored by over $12 billion in Ethereum and defended by a $4 billion repurchase program, completely supersedes the income statement as the primary valuation lens. Bitmine has engineered itself into the most unique institutional-grade Ethereum proxy available in public markets today. It is volatile, it is risky, but the structural setup, the NYSE uplisting, the institutional ownership base, the staking yield engine, the buyback program, and now the analyst upgrades has fundamentally changed this company's standing in the market. Now here is the question I want you to drop in the comments right now. If Ethereum breaks cleanly above $2,420 and holds it through the end of May, Do you think BMNR has enough institutional momentum to push through $30 before summer ends? Or does that $6 billion unrealized loss create too much psychological overhang for big money to push through? I genuinely want to know what you think, and I read every single comment on this channel. If this breakdown gave you real value today, please hit that like button right now. It costs you nothing, and it genuinely helps Smart Stock Sam reach more people who deserve to see this level of analysis. Subscribe so you never miss a weekly deep dive. And if you want to support what we are building here, YouTube's Super Thanks feature is right below this video. Even a small contribution goes a long way toward keeping this content free, independent, and this detailed. I truly appreciate every single one of you who supports this channel. Keep watching that $24 level on BMNR. Keep your eye on Ethereum at 2,420. The next few weeks could be very telling for this name. I will see you in the next one.